just got shot, you know, and he in ICU. I say, 50 what?
The night 50 Cent was fighting for his life wasn't just another chapter in hip-hop drama. It was a turning point that could have changed the entire culture forever. When he was rushed into the ICU after being hit multiple times, the streets froze, the industry whispered, and every rumor felt louder than the truth. Behind all the smoke, one name stood out, Gene Deal, a man who wasn't part of 50's camp, wasn't tied to his label, and wasn't chasing clout.
The day 50 Cent was shot, I was walking through, and BMF was there too. Meechnum was there too.
Who has more cred than you, living after being shot 9 times?
I don't know what the criteria are for street credibility. Or
That's
if
it.
If there's something that creates more merit for you. I looked at that experience as something that was unfortunate that I had to, because
I forget, why the guy shot you 9 times? Was it drugs or something?
It was paid to do it.
He was paid to do it.
Yet somehow became the one person who stepped in right before everything spiraled into a tragedy. When 50 finally opened up years later about Gene's warning and how close he came to being taken out before his career even started, people realized this wasn't just survival. It was a miracle carved out of pure instinct and raw courage. The early 2000s weren't like today's drama-filled timelines and internet arguments. That era was real steel and real tension. No filters, no safety net, just power players, street politics, and strategies that could decide whether an artist lived long enough to see their first album drop.
And they are now where?
Oh, the guy who actually shot me is dead. And the guy who paid him got life in jail.
Got life in jail.
50 wasn't just another rapper grinding for a shot. He was a name shaking up the streets, a threat to certain circles, and a rising force that some people didn't want moving any further. The industry back then hid danger behind closed doors while wearing smiles that never matched the intentions behind them. And right in the middle of all that noise, Gene Deal stepped in with a warning that wasn't coated with fear, wasn't wrapped in confusion. It was raw truth, delivered at the exact moment it could save a life. When 50 later said the man who shot him was gone and the person who paid for it ended up doing life, it showed just how deep this thing went. This wasn't random. This wasn't accidental. It was a whole operation designed to remove him before he could shine.
Karma. Explain to me again why this guy was hired to shoot you 9 times.
Well, he was paid because someone, felt like that I would potentially do something to them if they kept going in the direction that they were going.
And you are tough.
And hearing that shook the entire game because everybody suddenly understood how close the culture came to losing one of its biggest names before he even got started. Gene Deal was never a rapper, never a hype man, never someone trying to stand next to fame for attention. He was the type of guy who knew how the streets moved and how the industry played its darkest games. He had watched artists rise, fall, and vanish behind the scenes while people pretended nothing happened. So the day 50 was shot, Gene wasn't shocked, but he was alert. He had been around BMF, around powerful crews, around the type of individuals who knew exactly how far certain rivals were willing to go. When 50 later said the shooter had been paid to do it, it confirmed everything Gene had already figured out long before the rest of the world did.
I know that Irv Gotti and them had put it out there like they was a part of it and they was gonna do it that night, the day at the meeting.
We got up there, we came in and shit. You had Navy SEALs with it, 2 in all directions. Probably about 6 of them.
When you get hurt that bad, either your fear consumes you or you become a bit insensitive. So just after...
Which one was it for you?
There was a point that I was afraid.
Afraid?
Yeah, following that.
This wasn't jealousy. This wasn't a heated argument. This was business mixed with fear, the most dangerous combination possible. And Gene knew it. When he pulled 50 aside and told him what was really going on, he wasn't guessing or acting paranoid. He was speaking from experience, from conversations held behind closed doors, from patterns he'd seen repeat in the industry again and again. The game had rules, unofficial, unspoken, and deadly. And Gene understood them in a way 50 couldn't have at that time. Most young artists think beef is about lyrics or interviews, but Gene saw that the people watching 50 weren't playing that kind of game. They were moving quietly, moving strategically, moving in a way that only someone like him, someone who'd seen real setups, could recognize. His warning wasn't casual. It was serious, sharp, and urgent. And the fact that Gene even spoke up showed what kind of man he was. In that world, staying silent keeps you safe. Speaking up puts a target on your back, but Gene still did it because he knew the danger 50 was in and didn't want to watch another artist get taken out while the industry shrugged its shoulders in silence. By the time 50 explained how certain individuals had been talking about making a move on him the same night he was supposed to meet them, the picture became crystal clear. He didn't survive by luck. He survived because Gene Deal stepped in at the perfect moment. Gene didn't just warn him in general terms. He gave details: who, where, when, and why. Specific meetings that weren't safe, specific environments that were being watched, specific people who weren't shaking his hand out of respect but out of calculation. Gene told him to pull back, move smarter, stop showing up everywhere, stop letting people close enough to study his routine. And once 50 made those changes, everything started revealing itself. People he thought were cool with him suddenly backed up. Conversations dried up, plans fell apart. The snakes got exposed without him even trying. That's when 50 realized just how accurate Gene's intel was. The moment he moved differently, the fake energy around him collapsed. Gene risked his position, his connections, and his relationships by speaking up. He didn't benefit from it. He didn't gain status from it. He did it because he saw something real and wasn't willing to let another talented artist fall victim to hidden agendas. And because of that, 50 lived long enough to become one of the biggest names in music history.
50 Cent needs therapy. I don't care if you agree with the rationale. And 50-50, he gonna stand in it. He gonna stand strong in it. He is. I'd look at
Stories like this remind the world that behind every superstar, there are unseen moments, unseen decisions, and unseen heroes who stepped in at the right second. And Gene Deal, he became one of those unsung protectors who changed hip-hop without ever dropping a verse. If you want more stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. The deeper 50 explained the situation, the clearer it became that this wasn't just an everyday threat. This was a coordinated move to erase him before he became unstoppable. Gene Deal warned him that certain people were smiling in the room but plotting outside of it, watching his moves too closely and building a strategy to take him out permanently. And back then, 50 was young, hungry, and focused on the grind. He wasn't thinking about people forming secret alliances or studying his every step with the wrong intentions. Gene, on the other hand, had already seen this movie too many times. Artists gaining momentum, enemies getting nervous, plans forming quietly until the wrong night arrived. Gene risked everything by pulling 50 aside. Most security insiders stay loyal to whoever signs their checks. They don't interfere, they don't challenge power, they don't warn outsiders. But Gene wasn't built like that. He cared more about truth than comfort, more about loyalty than politics, and more about keeping someone alive than protecting the egos of the people making moves behind the scenes. When 50 later talked about being targeted because someone felt threatened by where he was headed, it all clicked. This wasn't street jealousy. This wasn't random panic. This was fear of what 50 could become, a young, fearless artist with a story too real to ignore, a voice too strong to silence, and a presence too powerful to control. And Gene recognized the danger before 50 even saw it coming. His warning wasn't just advice, it was survival instructions. And the wild part is how calm he delivered it. No sugarcoating, no dramatics, just straight up truth that hit harder than the bullets 50 had already survived. The industry never talks about his darkest corners, but Gene had lived in them. And by stepping forward, he ended a plan that could have changed music history forever. What made Gene's warning so powerful was that he wasn't relying on rumors. He had real intel from people who knew exactly what was being plotted. He'd seen how jealousy twists into danger, how certain individuals use charm to hide intentions, and how easily someone can get lined up without realizing they're walking into a trap. When Gene approached 50, he didn't come with long explanations or soft talk. He came with the weight of someone who'd witnessed the fallout of these situations way too many times. He told 50 straight up, some people around you don't want you rising, don't want you shining, don't want you becoming bigger than what they can control. And at that moment, 50 had to face something most artists never admit. The ones who smile the hardest might be the ones studying your downfall the closest. The early 2000s hip-hop scene was raw and cutthroat. Mixtapes were shaking cities, rivalries were real, and momentum scared people. And 50's momentum wasn't normal, it was explosive. He wasn't just buzzing, he was disrupting the entire structure. His mixtapes were everywhere. His name echoed through every hood, and his energy made powerful people nervous. When Gene saw how certain individuals were reacting to 50's rise, he knew the signs. People asking too many questions, people trying to get too close, people watching him not out of respect, but out of fear that he'd take over the lane they depended on. And when fear mixes with pride, the results get dangerous fast. Gene's decision to speak up wasn't just gutsy, it was heroic. He stepped into a lane most insiders avoid. He chose truth over comfort. And that moment became one of the quiet turning points that allowed 50 to survive long enough to become a global icon.